The Guildhall in Preston is filling up. It's two strong Lancashire middleweights, Jack Arnfield and Mick Hall. The second time they fought, it was a split decision in favour of Arnfield last time. Time to join your commentary team in a moment. The former super middleweight world champion Richie Woodall. But first, Ronald McIntosh.
Thank you very much indeed, Mark. We've got an expectant atmosphere here at the Guildhall in Preston ahead of this rematch over 12 rounds, rather than the truncated distance of the prize fighter format. Let's hand over to MC Phil Seymour to get tonight's introductions ahead of this 12-round middleweight bout.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome the viewers of the Big Fight Live on ITV4 to the Preston Guildhall for our chief supporting contest, 12 3-minute rounds, the WBA International Middleweight Championship. We welcome to the ring first, the challenger from right here in Preston, Mick the Hammer Hall.
Well, you've got to love the choice of music selected by Mick Hall. Hit the road, Jack, because he intends to put Jack Arnfield on the canvas in this second meeting in the professional ranks. The sole loss on the professional record of Mick Hall in a 14-fight record came at the hands of Jack Arnfield, and he's looking to avenge that tonight right here in his hometown of Preston.
And now to welcome the champion from Blackpool, Jack Arnfield.
The WBA International Middleweight title belt held proudly aloft by one of Jack Arnfield's entourage. There you see Michael Jennings, the former British welterweight champion, giving the thumbs up. He challenged for the world title as well. So lots of experience in the corner of Jack Arnfield, guiding him through this defense of the WBA International Middleweight title. He's full of confidence. There's a fair amount of needle between these two men. Arnfield feels that Mick Hall is quite simply a poor sport, a sore loser, and he should accept the defeat that was inflicted upon him during the prize fighter tournament. But it's all going to be settled here tonight. Jack Arnfield from just up the road in Blackpool, but he is very much the visiting fighter here tonight as we prepare for the second encounter following on from their prize fighter contest back in February 2015.
For ITV4 in association with Neil Marsh Promotions are proud to present 12 3-minute rounds of boxing for the WBA International Middleweight Championship. The WBA are represented at ringside by Mr. Robert Smith of Great Britain. The British Boxing Board of Control steward in charge is Alistair Hayes of Leeds, England. Your three scoring judges at ringside are Steve Gray of England, Jean-Robert Lenné of Monaco, and Larsen Umgar of the Netherlands. Your timekeeper at the bell is Gary Grennan of Burnley, England, and your referee when the action gets underway is Mr. Howard Foster of Doncaster, England. And now to meet the boxers. Starting with the challenger in the red corner, wearing red and black shorts. He weighed in at 11 stone, 5 pounds exactly. From 14 professional contests, his record reads 13 wins and just 1 defeat. From right here in Preston, Mick the Hammer Hall. And now the champion in the blue corner, wearing white and red shorts. He too weighed in at 11 stone, 5 pounds. From 24 professional contests, his record reads 22 wins and just 2 defeats. 5 of those wins coming by way of knockout. He's the reigning and defending WBA International Middleweight Champion from Blackpool, Jack Arnfield. Referee Howard Foster will now give both boxers their final instructions.
Okay, fellas, spoke to you both in the dressing room. You both know what I expect. Keep it clean, break straight away when told. Both of you watch your heads in close. Good luck to you both. Touch gloves. Good luck, lad.
This is 12 3-minute rounds, the WBA International Middleweight Championship.
Seconds up, round one.
So here we go then, the first of a scheduled 12 3-minute rounds in the middleweight division, the WBA International Middleweight title on the line between fighters who know one another very well indeed, local rivals as well. The man on the left of the screen wearing the predominantly white trunks is Jack Arnfield. Brings to the ring a 24-fight record, 22 victories, just 2 losses. His opponent, Mick Hall, wearing the black trunks trimmed with red. This is his 15th contest tonight in his 14 bouts to date. He's won 13, lost just 1, and that was to the man he is facing across the space of the boxing ring.
Tactics are pretty simple for both boxers here. Hall has got to slip that jab as he's going forward. He's got to drag Arnfield into a toe-to-toe battle and get up close to him. Arnfield totally the opposite. He's got to box at range, box from the centre of the ring, and just keep popping that jab out and concentrate on distance. So Hall has got to get to his man. This is why, Ron, this should be an exciting contest, because Hall will know if he tries to stay at range, he's going to get picked off. So he's got to go to him and got to get up close.
Already we've seen Hall demonstrating his penchant for switching stances. He is a switch hitter. Describes himself as unorthodox. When I was speaking to him earlier in the week, he says that can bring the punches from a variety of angles. But this, the first scheduled 12-round contest that he's been involved in, has yet to go beyond 6 rounds. As Jack Arnfield has completed the championship distance on 2 occasions, winning 1 and losing 1. Good right hand from Arnfield.
And that could play, be a factor that could play a big part in this contest in terms of going the distance. I think Hall will try and stop Arnfield early with a big shot, because the longer this contest goes, the more it favours Arnfield. He's tall, rangy, he's been the 12 rounds distance, no problems at all for him. So Hall will fancy trying to get this job done early.
The first time Arnfield went the 12-round distance, it was just at 8 days' notice in the challenge for the British title. Good work to the body from Hall. Left hook to the head was just short and partially blocked by the right glove of Arnfield. So the 12-round distance holds no fears whatsoever for Arnfield, but Hall, for his part, says that his conditioning and preparation is better than ever. And this is his first outing of 2017.
Hall's got to keep his hands up, Ron, as he's going forward. Arnfield has got a terrific left jab, boxes well at distance. Mid to long range is his strength. So Hall, as he's going forward, he's got to keep his hands a little bit higher, got to move his head to try and avoid that left jab.
Shooting out that left jab from around his belt line is Arnfield. It's a pretty accurate shot as well. Just of the flicking variety, but it will pile up the points if it continues to connect. And moreover, from Hall's point of view, it could become an annoyance.
Ten seconds, corners.
So both men up off their stalls early ahead of this second round.
2.
First round, bit of a reconnaissance mission for both of the boxers. Arnfield having success with the jab, and he scored effectively with that shot to begin this second session. Hall looking to target the body early on.
It was hard to split them in the first round, but I just thought that Hall did the better work on that front foot. Not a lot in the round though, Ron, but I just edged it to the local man.
Hall demonstrating good movement in the pocket, causing those long shots of Arnfield to slip over his shoulders, and we see it in evidence once again there. Really keyed in to the offense that's coming his way, managing to negate it by bobbing and weaving and slipping from the waist.
While it's at a fairly slow pace, that's actually going to suit Arnfield. You can see the attacks coming, you can pick the shots, you can pick that jab. And Hall has got to be quick, he's got to box at a faster tempo here, Ron. Get the feet into range, move the head most definitely, but throw the shots in 2s and 3s and up the tempo, because at this pace then the Arnfield will start to take over. That's a nice right hand there.
Very good short right hand caught Hall as he was coming in, doubling up the impact, and he's clubbing it around the corner once again. Good success from the right flank from the champion.
And we spoke about that guard, didn't we? He's got a low guard, and coming forward when you have a low lead hand, you're just going to walk onto that right hand, and that's what he's done there. A terrific, well-timed shot that was from Arnfield.
See him cocking that right hand once again as he tried to reverse 1-2. That fell short, Arnfield. Powder puff left coming from Hall, but they were blocked effectively enough. But there's a good lead right hand, driving Arnfield back to the ropes, and he initiates the clinch before waltzing his partner to the ropes and getting back to center ring. So plenty of patience being exhibited by both men. Hall trying to target the body with a straight left, but each one of them trying to trigger something off which they can counter. Who will lead? Who will blink first, as it were?
It's a patient game, isn't it, from Arnfield? He's just waiting, picking his shots. He's actually catching Hall as Hall's coming forward. And that's a lovely attack, you know, from Arnfield. Again, Hall just dropped that lead hand, took his eye off the ball just slightly there, and that just allowed Arnfield to make that fast attack. Good work from Arnfield.
Hall coming forward, the offensive foray, bringing cheers from the crowd, but plenty of the punches were blocked by the gloves and forearms. Left hook to the body wasn't too far away from Arnfield. And again, good work with the left hand. It's the most basic shot in the book, but if you can use it effectively, you can often control contests. The right hand blocked effectively again by Arnfield. Good right hand to the body, though, from Hall.
Okay, back in 3 or 4 times in the round, okay? Okay? Huh? Just like these clubs. Yeah, listen, let's just steady away.
Ten seconds, corners.
Plenty of petroleum jelly being applied to the face of Jack Arnfield, just aiding those punches to slip off the skin rather than split it. In a very competitive opening 2 rounds in this 12-round middleweight affair for the WBA International Middleweight title. Arnfield is the champion, competing in his 3rd 12-round contest. As Hall stepping into 12-round competition for the very first time. But he said his preparation has been better than ever. Really rankled with him, the defeat in prize fighter. He felt he won it. We've heard about the differences of opinion between the boxers as Arnfield scores with a good left jab again and then turns it into a long left hook before whipping a right hand through the guard as well. Good left jab in response from Hall, but that defeat in the prize fighter really rankled Hall, and he almost gave up the game altogether. Fought just once last year, but since August of 2016, he's now got a full-time team on board. He said that he's got sponsors, doesn't have to go through the ardor of selling tickets. can concentrate full time on his strength and conditioning, so he feels better prepared than he's ever been in his first foray over the 12-round distance.
I think Arnfield is starting to control things now with that long-range jab. Some lovely work, but again, the tempo is suiting him down to the ground. You can see the attacks coming from Hall. They're fairly slow. Hall is fairly dangerous when he gets in close, but he rarely does that, Ronald. He's got to, as I've said before, he's got to up the tempo a little bit here, get up close, move the head as he's going forward, try and keep those hands a little bit higher. But look how he's boxing at range now. Arnfield, centre of the ring as well. He's starting to take control now, Arnfield.
Arnfield using that left jab very effectively indeed, and perhaps just a trace of blood from the nose of Hall, who got through with a good left uppercut there. But again, that's the shot, because while it's being pistoned out by Arnfield, invariably it prevents Hall from working, because even when it fell short as it did there, just the deterrent factor alone prevents Hall from launching his own offense.
And when you're in this type of a contest, Ronald, against a taller man with a longer reach, you've got to think about ring position. There's a nice right hand over the top. That wasn't too far away. But what Hall's got to do, he's got to push Arnfield back. He's got to get him back onto the ropes, make his feet come square, then he can attack his body. But while Arnfield is holding the centre of the ring, he's got full range of movement and he's boxing at distance. Look, he's starting to take over. He's in control of things.
And we're left with the impression here at ringside that this tempo is suiting Arnfield down to the ground. The attacks coming in single phases from Hall when they do come. But it's Arnfield who is dictating the terms and the tempo, principally behind that long left jab. Good double jab from Hall, and perhaps he could be advised to use that shot more often.
Shooting is the big taller plate boxer. You need to be busy in between the lines and raiding them, yeah? With two-phase attacks, okay? Okay, unsettle them with the rage, touch them, come round the corners, come up to 12. Mix them up.
Well, the Enstral iron being applied to the left eyebrow of Mick Hall is beginning to swell up just a little bit. As we move into the fourth round of this contest, scheduled for 12 in the middleweight division, Hall won't want to be impaired, having that left eye begin to close, but the straight punches that Arnfield has been pushing out, no real pop on them, but a fair amount of precision.
Yeah, it's a fairly routine performance at the moment, Ron, from Arnfield. Just doing the basics, using the jab, straight right hand. So there's a bit of damage with the eye with Hall. That's mainly because of that jab and that straight right hand. There's nothing devastating from. He's not doing anything devastating, Arnfield. Just doing the basics very well. Straight punching, boxing to his strength, boxing a distance. Another good jab there.
It's proven to be a very effective weapon in the arsenal of Jack Arnfield. He's flicked that left jab in backhand style like the way Houston Estas and Larry Holmes used to do. And again, Hall trying to pull the trigger, but he's finding himself out of range, and he was put on the end of a good lead right hand there.
Yeah, and he's doing a lot of single attacks, Ron. You see, he's got to start doubling up the attacks as Hall, and to push his opponent back like we spoke of before, and sustain a little bit of pressure. And that's why he's got to move the head as he's coming forward to try and avoid the shot. But it's these feet are too slow at this stage. He's got to quicken them feet up, Hall has, and apply more pressure here. That's what he's got to do.
Now, the head movement from Hall was terrific in the opening round. He was standing in the pocket and causing the shots of Arnfield to sail over his shoulder. But as the contest has progressed, head movement becoming less evident. Arnfield helping himself to a 3-1 there as Hall momentarily lost concentration while the fighters were at close range. Hall has got to do something differently here, because if he continues at this type of tempo, well, this could well transpire to be an easy night's work for Arnfield. He's got a nick just on his left cheek. Doesn't appear to be leaking profusely at all, but it is a mark there. And maybe that will give Hall some encouragement as he lands with a good left jab.
You tend to think that Hall could be the more exciting boxer here, if he was to just step on the gas a little bit and have a go and really get up to his man. But like I say, Arnfield doing nothing spectacular. Lovely straight shot, straight jab. It's a well-educated jab. He's been well schooled, this lad, has Arnfield. He's boxing to his strengths. He's sensible boxing.
Again, by boxing at this rather pedestrian pace, Hall, as he's continuing to eat that left jab that is being snapped out by Arnfield. Have to pose the question as to how many fears does the 12-round distance hold? Having never competed over that course before. Another good round for Arnfield.
Put numbers on the board. Yeah, you look, check his count, look, touch him, check his counts, his comeback. Yeah, you should be used to his distance and his length by now. I know, but he came. Yeah, okay. All right, well listen, if he comes quick, you still defend. Don't walk off and switch off. You stay tall, slip under. Don't stay on the line. Anyone can go there. Come on.
Second down.
So into the 5th round of this middleweight contest that is scheduled for 12. And there was a fair amount of urgency coming from Alan Levine, the cornerman of Mick Hall, in the interval after round 4. Because I think Alan Levine senses that Hall has got to do something different, and to his credit, he is trying something different here. Came out with a nice double left hand. The final shot was an uppercut in the opening stages of this 5th round.
You know what he's got to do? He's got to block the jab that's coming. He's got to try and catch his opponent with that right hand over the top and get the timing right and try and whip. But by doing that, Ron, he's got to get a little bit closer to his opponent and then whip the right hand over. But it's a gamble. It's a very tricky thing to do because you're in the firing line. But he's got to do it. Get up close, parry the jab, and then whip that right hand over. But he's got to get up closer to him. And Alan Levine, of course, good corner and good coach. I boxed Alan Levine back in the 80s in the young England team, so he knows his stuff, Alan Levine.
Mick Hall joined him. He spent time with other trainers up in the northwest, including Oliver Harrison, Carl Ince. Feels that this change has been for the better. Had nothing but respect for the people who have helped him on the way. Good two-punch combination from Arnfield.
See, that wasn't too bad there, but he misses the target. But that's the shot he's got to throw, Hall. That right hand over the top. But he was a little bit too far away. Like you said, he's got to get up closer. He's getting closer and closer. He's starting to learn in this fight, but he's just taking too many as he's coming forward. And that was a lovely 1-2 there.
Most certainly was, and it shot down the gap as the arcing right hand of Hall was going around the corner. Arnfield is quick as a flash. Shot a straight right hand down the pipe. That was an effective shot. Good left jab to the body from Hall.
And remember, Ron, Hall hasn't been past 6 rounds, has he? So that question mark's in his mind. Trust me, I've been there when you're doing 6, when you're doing 8. And to go from 6 rounds up to 12 rounds, that's a big ask. So maybe he's not stepping on the gas too much because he's thinking about saving his energy. What's it like going into the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th round? There's always that question mark on a boxer who has never been there before.
Yep, most certainly is on the verge of entering unknown territory. And how will that dictate the tactics and the strategy in the contest? Because as Richie's pointed out, if he elects to go too slowly as he gets picked off by a wonderful 2-shot burst from Arnfield, well, he could find himself trailing by a country mile on the scorecards, have a gas tank full of energy, but have too much to do. So all these type of calculations and questions will be going through the mind of Hall now, but in the meantime, Arnfield is enjoying a very good portion of the round as we approach the bell to end round number 5.
10 seconds, corners. Seconds out, round 6.
Well, to begin this 6th round, Jack Arnfield marching right onto the logo of the boxing ring and snaking out 2 left jabs. Hall trying to get some dynamism into his work, up on his toes, but can he close the distance and sustain some pressure on Jack Arnfield, who is looking oh so comfortable up there in the boxing ring.
There were glimpses in that previous round from Hall. What he should be doing, he's got to be busier. That's a nice left hook. And I heard Alan Levine just above us say you must be busier as his boxer went out for this round. So he started this round much better. He's quickened the tempo a little bit, and that's giving Jack Arnfield a few problems now.
Success with the jab, but then look, Arnfield back to work with his own cultured left hand. And now we're seeing the evidence of head movement from Hall once again, for the first time perhaps since the opening round in this contest, where he used it to terrific effect. Good right hand over the top from Hall, perhaps his best punch of the entire contest.
Getting a little bit closer now, isn't he? Listening to his corner, going forward, trying to avoid shots, but getting into range to whip the punches over. Arnfield just sticking to his tactics, long, straight work from him. Now it's warming up a little bit now, but Hall, I think he realised himself that he's got to do something different wrong. I think he's listened to his corner, and this is a better round from up to now.
Yep, he's just having a little bit more success, incremental success at drawing Arnfield into these exchanges. And where Arnfield's been at his most effective, well, it's the art of boxing personified, hitting without getting hit. But Hall has just been getting incrementally closer and forcing Arnfield to stand and fight on occasion through the midpoint of this 6th round.
Better movement with the head from Hall. Needs to punch off that though. And what Arnfield's got to do when his opponent comes forward like that is maybe bring the right uppercut through the middle. Arnfield rather, yeah, after his jab. But it's liveling up now. And it's again a better attack from Hall.
So Hall appearing altogether more lively during this 6th session, but that left jab will subdue anybody at or around this level. Good punch picking once again from Arnfield. But Hall looking encouraged, looking inspired, and he's up on his toes, he's bobbing and weaving and presenting a far more mobile target, a far busier boxer throughout this 6th round. He's been in rounds 2 through 5.
Good work there from Hall. Switched his attack, didn't he? Left hook to the body and then moves upstairs with that right hand. Again, his hands are a little bit low, so he's got to keep those a little bit higher. But this is a more competitive round now for Hall. This has been his best round since that round 1.
So 6 rounds in the bag, and a good round of boxing for Mick Hall.
So Hall coming forward here. That's a lovely left hook from that crouch position there. He had a better round here. Arnfield missed with the jab, and Hall came back with a lovely left hook. His best round since the first.
Just get busy. Up and down. Listen.
So Alan Levine giving the instructions to Mick Hall, so you can listen in.
Keep your head movements. Don't stay static on the line there. Moving all the time. Make it flow.
It's Michael Jennings over in the blue corner, passing on words of wisdom as we prepare to go into the 2nd half of the bout.
Seconds out, round 7.
So 6 rounds completed, a potential 6 rounds to go. This is brand new territory for Mick Hall, the local man from Preston. I spoke with him during the week. He said that between he and a man named Bill Hodgson, a heavyweight who opened the boxing here tonight, they've sold over 200 tickets for the Guildhall here in Preston. That is why there is such a vocal contingent of support every time Hall has even a modicum of success in this rematch against Jack Arnfield.
Arnfield again, back to that jab. Straight shots. Better work from him with the straight punches, but Hall, he's learned the hard way, Ron, in this contest, because it took him two or three rounds to actually get into this contest in terms of moving his head, doing things differently. In that last round, probably his best round for a while, and he knows now that he's got to get on his, get up closer to his opponent, close that gap down, and up the tempo, and he did that in that previous round. So how's Arnfield now going to respond?
Slapping right hand to the body wasn't too far away. Good straight right from Arnfield as he drove his man back across the ring. Both of these men are highly decorated as amateurs. Arnfield first went to the gym when he was 10 years of age. Blackfield and Fylde Amateur Boxing Club. His gym mates included Brian Rose. Good right hand again. He turned pro at 18 after winning the British Junior title with a victory over Scott Cardle, the current British lightweight champion, who's also from Blackpool. I can tell you that from the red corner just to the right of our commentary position, Alan Levine saying, don't be lazy, let's work, 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 come on. Because he had his best round for some time in the previous session when he was busy and he was dynamic, but the work rate has just dipped to what it was prior to round 6. And when you let Levine come forward, he is very much the governor in the ropes arena. Good left hand from Arnfield.
Yeah, Hall's just losing his way again in this round, Ron, mainly because we have to give Arnfield a lot of credit again here. He's boxing from the centre of the ring. He's controlling the pace, but it's ring position. It's absolutely crucial in a contest like this, and Arnfield is doing the right things, holding the centre. Better shot there with that right hand, and look at the swelling now on Hall's eyes. It's mainly from those crisp jabs, crisp right hands, but the ring position has been excellent from Arnfield, holding the centre.
There's one coming up in the centre of his forehead as well. So his face beginning to mark up rather badly. Howard Foster calling timeout just before the bell sounded to end round number 7. Well, that left eye beginning to swell rather badly in the face of Mick Hall. And that principally because of the accurate jab that has landed for the majority of the contest from Jack Arnfield. Mick Hall had a very good round in the 6th session, but then in round number 7, Hall's work rate and tempo dipped again, and it allowed Arnfield to get back to work with that patient, percussive left jab. Just tripped it out and kept walking Hall onto it. Hall trying to get busier once again, but still Arnfield occupying and navigating the space of the boxing ring very effectively indeed.
Definitely the right approach with the head there with Hall, side to side, moving. So it's a tougher, harder target to hit for Arnfield, but his feet again are a little bit too slow, so you've got to quicken the feet up with that fast head movement, then throw the punches in 2s and 3s. But Arnfield again getting back to the jab, centre ring. It's been a good display from the Blackpool man up to now. And look at the faces of the two boxers. They tell the story.
Yep, oftentimes they do. Hall's face beginning to puff up and swell. As though a toddler's been playing with modelling clay, the amount of swellings that are beginning to appear all over his face. He got tagged with a good left jab there, but just a few moments before he landed a good straight right. And again, every modicum of success that Hall enjoys is cheered enthusiastically by his legions of local supporters who have made their way here to the Preston Guildhall.
Well, Arnfield just made a mistake of just switching there. He went to southpaw, didn't he? He just got caught with the right hand as his feet were actually crossing. But that just shows you the confidence of Arnfield, to be quite honest, Ron. He switched to southpaw earlier. And again, the pace is suiting the Blackpool man. But that was a bad left up there from Hall. That's nice head movement as he's going forward.
Referee Howard Foster just warning Arnfield not to pull his man down when they get into close range. Oh, that uppercut wasn't too far away. He's back on the left jab once again. Didn't really view this as a risk. Jack Arnfield, good left hook from the man in white.
Oh, there's some bad swelling there, Ron, as well on the forehead of Hall. Yep. Again, simple stuff, basic stuff from Arnfield, but it is so accurate and so effective.
His face beginning to take on the appearance of a gargoyle now is Mick Hall. Swelling's appearing on the forehead, over the left thigh, up thigh. And his fans trying to encourage him. He gets through with a good single left hand there, but really Arnfield is the man in control up there in the ring. And it looks as though he's enjoying his work. So another round surely must be scored in favor of Arnfield. Michael Jennings must be very pleased indeed.
Some good work again here from Arnfield. Simple stuff. There's the jab, boxing at distance. Hit and move. Hit or don't get hit, should I say. Very brave indeed coming forward, Hall, but just walks onto a left hook. And there's the swelling on the forehead there.
Stuff that, yeah? Roll, finish on the last shot, drop out. Come back with your second phase. You've got to outwork him. You're letting him steal with the jab. Let him nick little bits. He's not even working hard. Yeah, come on. Open your mouth up. Let's get busy. Yeah, busy now. Yeah, I want you to work.
10 seconds, corners. Second down and 9.
So round 9 then, and Alan Levine imploring his man that he has got to outwork Jack Arnfield, and he's come out at a higher tempo than he demonstrated in round number 8, trying to get that jab working. That right hand wasn't too far away, because soon, well, you get the impression, you're left with the impression that Hall has got to have one last roll of the dice, because he's trailing considerably here, from my perspective at least. He's got to do something drastic and something different if he hopes to get a measure of competitive revenge over the man who's inflicted the only loss on his professional record today.
We said at the start of the contest that the longer this goes, the more it will favour Arnfield. That's certainly the case now. Remember the question mark will come into Hall's mind. Is he fit enough to go 12? He's never been this far before in a contest, remember. So he's boxing well at this point. That's better. So he's listening to his corner. He's responding. But the longer it goes, the more confident Arnfield will get. He's working so well at range with that jab.
Can he sustain the burst of success that he's enjoying, Mick Hall, and make things uncomfortable? Oh, that's a cracking left hook from Arnfield. Again, Mick Hall was walking onto it, and now his head is being snapped back by a ramrod straight left hand.
He's got problems here now, Hall. He's weakening, I think, by the round, Ronald, now. He's walking onto that jab, and now Arnfield is starting to throw that left hook. That wasn't a bad shot, though, from Hall. Good right hand. But Arnfield, look, now he senses it now. Arnfield, he senses that his opponent's getting a little bit weaker, and he's maybe there for the taking now. This is going to be a tough time for Hall to get through this.
He's quickening the tempo, is Arnfield, recognising perhaps that the punches aren't coming with as much snap, and that the responses, that was a rather unorthodox rush forward from Hall, rather clumsy, leading with the head almost as his feet came totally square. Glancing right uppercut from Arnfield. Hall being driven backwards, could be beginning to betray signs of poor body language here, but he's being recognised by Arnfield. He's remaining patient, remaining poised as he's continuing to pick his punches very effectively indeed. There's that same move again, and given how much success Arnfield has enjoyed walking his man onto punches, he could well read that and walk him onto another one. Again, the supporters of Hall trying to encourage their man, but he's continuing to eat that left hand.
He just can't avoid the shots coming forward, can he, Hall? His head's slowed down now, the hands are still fairly low. He's trying to get motivated, you can see him, but he's just walking onto the shots. The feet are again too slow. And Arnfield again, for me, another round.
Well, you have to give credit to the competitive spirit that Mick Hall is demonstrating in this contest. But he took an awful lot in that round. That was a cracking left hook.
Yeah, Arnfield's starting to bring the left hook into play now, isn't he? And a couple of cracking shots there after a right uppercut also landed.
Well, this is how Richie sees the contest to this point. Complete and utter domination in favour of Jack Arnfield. 2 rounds to hold the opening, and then the 6th where he responded very well indeed, but he hasn't been able to sustain the type of success he showed in that 6th round.
I think some of the rounds, there hasn't been a lot in them, but it's just been that basic jabs from Arnfield that has done the trick, and he's boxed at distance. And like I say, look at the 2 faces of the boxers. And Arnfield, for me, he's boxed a clever contest tonight, so far.
So into the 10th round then. Mick Hall marching back out into battle. His spirit is remaining intact, it's remaining very good indeed, but he keeps being put on the end of straight punches principally. And in round number 9, Arnfield was bringing the left hook into play as well. One wondered how the needle, good left jab from Hall, but then he took one in return as Arnfield gets back onto the left jab once again. One wondered how the emotion in the build-up to this rematch, how big a part it would play. But both men have been very composed, boxed very well indeed, particularly Arnfield, who said before the contest, well, I beat him over 3 rounds previously, he didn't take the defeat graciously, so now I'm going to inflict a beating over 12. And given the way he's boxed through this portion of the contest, he's proven to be as good as his word as he gets to more success with good straight shots.
I mean, in terms of fitness, Hall's fitness is very good, Ron. He's never been past 6 rounds, remember, and he's taken a lot of shots. And any boxer will tell you, when you're taking punches, it really tires you out. And he's still in there, still having a go. But at this stage now, Arnfield more or less doing what he wants with that lead hand. And Hall again, he can't get out of the way of it.
Have to give credit to the man's fighting spirit as he got through with a good right hand to the body, but that punch that he's been snapped out by Arnfield there from down by the belt line now, followed up with a right hand, has been such an effective weapon all contest long. The face of Mick Hall, testimony to how accurate the punches of Arnfield have been. Not particularly powerful, but very precise. And there's been a fair number of them as well. Profitable punches coming from the gloves of Arnfield.
He's slowing right down there, isn't he, Hall? Arnfield again, he senses it. Good shots there to the body from Arnfield.
Again, that left jab just continuing to disrupt the rhythm and forward momentum that Hall is trying to establish. So every time he gets his head snapped back by that jab, he's got to reset, regroup, and try and come again. There's left jab success from Hall, but surely he's got to come in waves of sustained attacks to try and make life uncomfortable for Jack Arnfield.
We said it earlier, didn't we? He should be doubling up the attacks and sustaining a bit of pressure, but the fact that he hadn't gone past the 6 rounds, well, like I said, it's played a big part. There's a question mark in his mind. For me, anyway, it's my opinion.
Well, everything good for Arnfield has come off the jab tonight. And there we see it in evidence once more, continuing to poke it out. And it's proved to be a real nuisance for Mick Hall all contest long. Desperate left hook was blocked effectively by the right hand. Another very good round for Jack Arnfield. And despite the competitive desire and spirit that is being shown by Mick Hall, this man is in control. Well, just another reminder that we'll be live from the Olympia in London from 7 p.m. on Saturday, the 4th of February for Chris Eubank Jr. against Renaud Quinlan. For more information on how to tune in to ITV's first ever pay-per-view event, go to www.itvboxoffice.co.uk.
shape, yeah? Okay, shall we go? What a tough shot that right hand down there, is it?
So we're into the championship rounds then. And Mick Hall, the boxer wearing black trunks from right here in Preston, needs to do something well, decisive and different in these final 6 minutes. Because really, if we're being honest, the contest can't go the scheduled 6 minutes if Hall hopes to prevail. In reality, he's got to put his man on the floor, keep him there for the 10 count. He's had moments of success. His competitive desire has remained intact all contest long. There's a good right hand that got behind the left glove of Arnfield, but for the most part, it is Arnfield who has boxed in terms that he has dictated. Good left uppercut again, and the follow-up left hook wasn't too far away from Arnfield.
It's that right hand over the top that he's got to try and find, isn't it? He's going to whip it over there. It is there. That's not a bad shot. Maybe he has to feint with the jab to the body and then try and draw the lead of Arnfield and then whip it over and try and bring Arnfield onto the punch to double up the power. But it's a tough-ass Ronald at this stage. There it was there. That's a good shot. Arnfield covered it well, but again, he's just allowed to box at distance again, and Hall's made the mistake of just stepping off the gas run when he needed to go forward and have a go there.
Yeah, he had success with that single right hand, but then Arnfield continued to knock on the door with that left jab. And the swelling on Mick Hall's forehead has worsened considerably. Good left hand to the body from Arnfield, but still, Hall coming forward, trying to launch his own offense. Right hand to the body was countered immediately by a left hook from Arnfield.
Yeah. Hall's just got to keep that right hand higher now, Ron, as he's going forward. Arnfield again landing that left hook, mainly because Hall's right hand was very, very low. So that chin was exposed a little bit, so he's got to keep that right hand very high as he gets in at close quarters as Hall.
Well, that swelling continuing to worsen, and I'm sure that the doctor will be taking a look. The earliest available opportunity. Alan Levine may have something to say about this as well. Because Mick Hall has been spirited, has continued to compete with everything he has, but Jack Arnfield, well, he's ranked number 11 by the WBA. He's got an eliminator for the British title in the books, scheduled for May, against Elliot Matthews after manager Steve Wood won the purse bids and plans to stage that fight in Bolton. That's why, well, Arnfield didn't view this contest as a risk. Oh, cracking right hand, and momentarily the knees of Arnfield dipped, and has Hall found the punch that he needed to begin to turn this contest around. But Arnfield, though, remains clear-eyed, his balance remains good, but he was clipped. And just as I was posing the question as to whether the ringside doctor or Alan Levine have got to save Hall from his own competitive instinct, back he comes with a cracking right hand that gives him plenty of encouragement and enthuses this crowd.
What a punch. What a punch that was, Ron. We said, didn't we, about the right hand over the top. Let's have a look at it here. Whips it over as Arnfield throws the jab. That's what we spoke about. Goes to throw a jab, gets the timing right, whips it over, and nearly puts Arnfield, nearly put him down there. What a tremendous shot. Oh, referee's called it off.
Yeah, it's been stopped. So jubilant celebrations over in the blue corner. Jack Arnfield making his way across, and it's nice to see the two bitter competitive rivals exchange that embrace of respect. But at the end of the 11th round, Jack Arnfield has earned a repeat victory over Mick Hall, this time in a contest scheduled for 12 3-minute rounds, and he makes a successful defense of his WBA International Middleweight title.
Hands off to Alan Levine there in that corner, thinking about his boxer. It's a terrible injury in terms of the swelling, and he's done the right thing there. But what a super right-hand punch that was. There's Alan Levine talking to his lad. Look at the swelling, Ronald. I'm glad he's pulled him out. The right decision by Alan Levine, and a brave decision, wasn't it? But what a terrific right hand that was from Mick Hall. Tremendous stuff.
Well, he continued to compete right up until what proved to be the very end of the contest. The straight punches kept him at bay for the majority of the bout. Jack Arnfield boxing very well indeed. See, Michael Jennings, the dark-haired fellow, talking to him. Kerry Kay's a nutritionist there wearing the spectacles. And that's the support team of Jack Arnfield, and they have guided their man to another victory. So Howard Foster has both protagonists at centre ring. Let's head up to MC Phil Seymour to get the official announcement at the conclusion of this WBA International Middleweight bout.
Ladies and gentlemen, just before we announce the result, your referee Howard Foster has asked that you please put your hands together for both boxers. The contest came to an end at the end of the 11th round, your referee deeming Mick Hall unable to continue. Therefore, your winner and still WBA International Middleweight Champion from Blackpool, Jack Arnfield.
So Jack Arnfield improves his professional record to 23 wins in 25 fights, a successful defense of his WBA International Middleweight title, and his British title eliminator against Elliot Matthews, scheduled for May, remains intact. He boxed very well tonight, and he kept a very game, competitive Mick Hall at bay for the majority of the bout. He's the winner after forcing a retirement at the end of the 11th round.
So a very dominant win there for Jack Arnfield. We hope to hear from him after the break, and David Price and Duke McKenzie with us as well with their analysis of this opening bout tonight here in Preston.